So, Snape is black.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah. Guys, Warner Brothers is like the dumbest company in entertainment next to Disney. I think they're honestly on par to be at equal footing in terms of how absolutely stupid they are. What's weird is that Warner Brothers, their IPs that they have under their belt, they haven't necessarily wokeified them, and that's what made them bad to the level that Disney has wokeified stuff and made it bad, right? At least not up until now. Warner Brothers has had a similar problem to Disney in that they don't understand what the fans want, but Warner Brothers' problem is different. Warner Brothers, they just consistently pump out bad stuff, right? Like their DC on film movies have not been very good, most of them anyway, except for, select few like Batman, Joker, stuff like that. They haven't really made those films woke, not to the degree of Disney, but they're bad because they just keep getting things wrong. They're making stuff nobody likes. Now they are starting to get into wokeness, and that comes down to Harry Potter with his casting of Severus Snape as a black dude. What are we even doing? Dude, think about this for a second, right? Warner Brothers has, get this, they have DC film rights to make superhero movies. They have A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. They have Lord of the Rings under their belt. And now they have Harry Potter as well. They've always had Harry Potter as well. Those four IPs are absolutely legendary. That should be making them gangbusters, and instead they're absolutely destroying pretty much all of their goodwill with this casting. Guys, think about it this way, right? Harry Potter, I think right now, might be more popular than it ever was. I don't know why it's made a resurgence, but I actually have started to get back into it myself. I never read the books. I've only really kind of watched some of the films, but I know enough about the story to know, absolutely the Severus Snape stuff is ridiculous, and it's clearly them just trying to make a racial angle so that in case there's anything wrong they do with the series, they can blame it on race, as they always do. Guys, in the books, I know that there's a scene where Harry Potter's dad lynches Severus Snape from a tree. Think about the imagery it's going to create when you see a black guy getting strung up from a tree. Oof. Oh my goodness. And you know that's what they're going to do. This is how they inject modern politics into it. They're going to take the story that had pre-existing elements like the tree hanging scene, and they're going to apply a racial angle to it, and it's going to piss everybody off. Then when people criticize it, they'll call us all racist. We've seen it a million times. Anyway, let's see what the other side of the angle has to say about it, because I'm sure a lot of us in our cultural sphere are rightfully upset about this. Let's see what the left has to say about this, because then that'll really give us an indication of just how bad the backlash is on this. Harry Potter's new professor Severus Snape is black, and fans are losing their minds. Papa Essiaru, ooh, spicy name, will now be taking on the mantle, but his appointment isn't without some controversy. While it should cause celebration for when actors get cool roles, for British actor Papa Essiaru, the recent news about his iconic new Harry Potter casting, it's unfortunately causing a lot of controversy. You probably won't be surprised when we tell you why. As teased by Deadline over the weekend, Essiaru is reportedly finalizing the details to take on the character of Professor Severus Snape in the upcoming Harry Potter series, slated to premiere on HBO in 2026. Though that seems fine and dandy on the surface, fans of the franchise have been in a serious tizzy over the announcement for a myriad of reasons, chief among them his race, because his race is literally as described in the books, I know, as sallow-skinned and sometimes marble white, as Ryan Kinnell from Geeks and Gamers pointed out, having read the books himself. In the books and films, Snape, a professor at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, was a 30-something unattractive professor who had greasy black hair, cold black eyes, sallow skin, a large hooked nose, yellow and uneven teeth, and more. Based on the optics alone, it's hard to imagine how Hollywood could turn someone as attractive as Essiaru into the morbidly described character when he is aesthetically so far removed. Snape was also an infamous bully and anti-hero who held thoughts and beliefs and performed behaviors equivalent to that of a clan member, which further makes this casting such a confusing choice. Well, there you have it. The left is even pissed off about this for different reasons than we are. Because to them, Snape is such a bad guy that casting a black guy in a villain light, is not a good look. And you see, this is what happens when you have identity politics, right? When you try to take the story that's been established and you change it well, then it's going to upset everybody else, and it causes unnecessary issues. Because now, for one thing, you have the imagery of a black guy getting strung up at a tree. I'm not even really sure if the industry knew about that. I'm sure they had to. Maybe that's why they did it. But then the left is saying, hey, wait a minute. You're making a black guy look like a villain. We can't have that. You see the problems this creates? Hollywood doesn't care, and it's really sad. Because honestly, I was excited for this series. You could have literally introduced an entirely new generation of Harry Potter fans with this show. Had this show been done right, we could be talking about like one of the biggest shows that we've ever seen. Probably on the level of Game of Thrones, but even more popular because of the age appropriateness of Harry Potter, which can appeal to a lot of different ages. It's so unfortunate because this thing could have been absolutely like amazing. I'm sure it could have been incredible. And it looks like so far they have other castings which are actually good, like John Lithgow as Dumbledore. Yeah, I'm in. That sounds pretty cool. But the Severus Snape stuff, absolutely not. Here's what I think is going to happen realistically, though. I think the show is going to do well because it's Harry Potter. I imagine it will do a lot, really big, solid numbers overall. And I think it's going to generate quite a lot of hype, at least for a good while. As for the quality of the content itself, that remains to be seen. So far, this casting announcement casts doubt on the ability for them to tell a story faithfully and truthfully, and as well as the movies were able to do. Honestly, I'm not really sure this could even live up to the films. I know the films are not considered the best adaptation of the story, although they're well liked. But considering when you're not even really following the source material, how can we trust that the filmmakers themselves in this case are going to make a show that's faithful to the books? We don't. We can't really give them the benefit of the doubt here based on what we've seen over the last few years. So, the show hasn't even come out yet. I'm not going to really judge it until it comes out. I'll really try to see on its own merit what it'll be. My prediction is Snape will be distracting. It's going to turn a lot of people off, but the show itself will still do really well. And maybe the show, honestly, doesn't even mention his race at all. I'd find that hard to believe that they wouldn't at least somewhat touch on that, to be honest. But maybe it's just a guy who is black, and they're not even going to pretend he's black. You're just supposed to not really notice it, except that it's impossible to notice when the book tells us that he's marble white. So, that's frustrating, but we'll see what happens when the show comes out. Anyway, guys, that was the video. Warner Brothers, they're in a lot of trouble right now. So we'll see what they do. But guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next one.